Let's start with the first and the most simple question. What is performance tuning? Or what we do or what we aim in the performance tuning activity? In very simple terms, in a very simple language, we might want to improve the speed of our code or our query or for our data pipeline. That's what we aim to do in the performance tuning, improve the speed. But what do we actually mean by improving the speed? Do we want our query to run faster? Yes. So how do we measure whether our query is running faster now or not? Let's assume your query is currently running in 60 seconds. You did the performance tuning activity, you improved the performance, and now your query is running in 30 seconds. So you improve the performance by 30 seconds. But is this correct measurement? Maybe your query was earlier processing 10,000 records in 60 seconds. Now it is processing 5,000 records in 30 seconds. Is that a real improvement? No, that's not. So response time or total time to complete is not the correct measurement for improving the speed. That's not enough in itself. That is definitely one kind of measurement. You can see, okay, the query is now running faster, the response time is less. Earlier it was 30 seconds, now it is maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds. So we did the improvement. But along with that, to be on sure side, you have to measure the throughput. And throughput is records per minute or records per second. So when you are sitting for performance tuning, when you are measuring before and after, you should consider what the number of records you are processing, and the measurement should be based on the throughput and response time both. Throughput should be calculated to understand the real improvement. So that's the one concept we need to understand before we set out for the performance tuning activity. The second goal of performance tuning could be reducing the cost, right? So the idea is to do more with less amount or number of resources. So how do you measure whether you have improved the cost or not? Right? Simple. Earlier I was able to do it with maybe 20 CPU cores in 60 seconds. Now we are able to do it with 10 CPU cores in same 60 seconds. So we are able to reduce the cost. So how do you measure the cost in a real scenario in your project? So cost measurement can be done using measuring two matrices, CPU utilization and memory utilization. So idea is simply benchmark your CPU utilization before you are doing performance activity. Maybe let's say it is 80% and you did the performance tuning activity, and after that you are again benchmarking your CPU utilization and realized that okay, it is now came down to 40%. So that 40% delta that you achieved from 80% to 40%, that's your cost improvement. You can do more with less CPUs, or maybe you can release those additional CPUs, right, which are not utilized fully. Same thing applies with the memory. So when it comes to talking about reducing the cost of your performance, the measurement is done using the utilization, resource utilization, such as CPU utilization, memory utilization. We measure what was the utilization before and what is the utilization after the performance tuning activity. So we understand how much cost is reduced. The third goal for performance tuning is to reduce failures. For example, your query or your code is running perfectly fine, but out of 100 times, let's say you have a workflow or you have a job which is scheduled to run 6 times a day, right? You are running it continuously. Most of the time it works perfectly fine, but out of 100 executions, 3 times it fails with out of memory exception. So you have a 3% failure rate. And you want to improve the pipeline, do some tuning activity, figure out what is wrong there, and improve it so that your error rate is either reduced to less than earlier or it becomes 0. More than often we want to reduce it to 0%, right? So your failure rate should be 0% or your success rate should be 100%. So third goal for performance tuning could be reducing the failures. May not be improving the time, may not be improving or reducing the cost, but making sure that your errors are not coming. You have a 100% success rate. So that is what we do in the performance tuning activity. Sometimes we sit to improve the speed or throughput, records or per minute or records per second. Sometimes we aim for reducing the cost, bring down the utilization, and sometimes we sit to reduce the number of failures, making sure that your workflow or your job is 100% successful all the time.